New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Knick and Tom Show here, giving you that Knicks talk a day late. If you knew what I had to do to get this show to even pop off, man, you would blow your head. But the Knicks lost to the Nets last night, if you didn't know, 107-110, led by Julius Randle, who gave you 26 points, shot 52% from the field, 42% for 3 and 4 assists. Also, another 24 points from RJ Barrett. Evan Fournier had a good game, his once in a while good game with 25 points. And the unsung hero, Sims, I like to call the Nerlens Noel replacement, gives you 6 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 block. And we finally going to talk about it. I know you guys really wanted to vent yesterday, but man, technical difficulties. We're going to talk all about it today with your boy Jay Ellis. And shout out to Knicks Nation. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with the KOT show. All right, man. Let's get to it. And before I even get started, man, we're going to hit that like button, subscribe button, and help comment. It helps the algorithm and helps KOT climb the YouTube chart. So shout out to everybody who's rocking with us tonight. Man, y'all don't even know, man. Y'all don't even know what I had to go through to even get the second show going. But man, we here. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for even being here. Yo, shout out to Telem Alejandro. Shout out to supporters. Shout out to Fritz Alessandro, who's here shout out to everybody who's here on the back. Is the intro, is everything good? Is everything good? Everything's freezing? Shout out to Telem Alejandro. Shout out to Fritz Alessandro, who's here on another night. We didn't have to be. Shout out to Dripmore. Shout out to people who's here earlier who's wondering what happened. Wilton Milner, Jeffrey Easton, and everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. I'm just glad to get this show off the ground and really talk some Knicks basketball. All right. Now, let's get to it. All right. Now, before I even get into the game, I just want to talk overview of the Knicks in general, right? We kind of reaching a critical juncture of the season. Not even critical juncture. I feel like the Knicks are in a position where they're doing well enough to kind of chase their tail. And if they don't reach their goal, the end of the season ends up being like maybe more of a bigger failure than it's supposed to be. And that's what I'm worried about, right? Because the success of the season, to me, or to most of Knicks Nation, mind you, kind of has to do with a few things. One being, do we make the playoffs? Do we make the play-in? Do we make significant progress in the playoff and build off the success of last season, right? 2, it also has to deal with the youth. Are the youth building? Are the youth getting experience? Are they reaching that next level? And the NBA, they put out this play-in thing and is doing what it's intended to do. It's making teams want to chase a carrot, right? Because I feel like that's what's happening with the Knicks right now. We got on a 3-game winning streak, and we're chasing this carrot of a play-in. Meanwhile, we're still way under a 500 team, which is not where you want to be in the NBA. And I feel like at this point we're kind of it's setting us back a little bit, because now if you're looking at Tankathon, right? We're looking at Tankathon. We're scoring over here by the Knicks. These are the tough games left. The Knicks have 14 games left. 1 against Miami, 1 against Utah, 1 against the Bulls, 1 against the Cavs, 1 against Toronto, 1 against the Nets. But we have very winnable games against the Orlando Magic, Detroit Pistons, the Portland Trailblazers, the Wizards, KP and them, and the Charlotte Hornets. So it's easy to see why the Knicks would try to go for a push. But going for this push is very dangerous, because if we miss the play-in and we still fail to develop some of these youth for the last few games, it makes everything look worse. Now, if we make the play-in, I'm not sure what the benefits are even making the play-in at this point, unless a miracle happens, because I don't see us beating a top seed in the East. I really don't. So I kind of feel like we're in this weird spot where it's damned if we do, damned if we don't. If we make the play, we get like a swift first round exit, and then we still don't have significant minutes for McBride and Grimes and things of that nature, and Sims, who we're about to talk about in a minute. And so I'm very worried of what's happening right now, and at this point, we're kind of too far down the rabbit hole to even switch directions. But at this point, with this loss to the Nets, I'm in my mind, I kind of still want to pack it in right now, but I already know that's not what they want to happen. I already know that's not what they want to happen. It's a slim pickings right now. It really can be touch and go whether we make that play in. Granted, we have some games against Charlotte that are winnable, but I don't even want to go for it. I really don't want to go for it. But at this point, they're athletes. They're competitors. If I was on the basketball court, if I was playing for the Knicks as an NBA player, I would feel some type of way if my coach was telling me to quit, if the front office was telling me to quit as a competitor, as a human. So I get their outlook, and I don't blame them for it, right? But at the same time, like, big picture, I feel like, man, maybe it's time I want to play the youth a little bit more. I want to play the youth a little bit more. And to drive that point home, I want to talk about Sims right now. And I see Chris S says the Hawks just won. Yeah, the Hawks just won. I know the Hawks schedule, I don't think is a crazy one either. And hold on, let me get to the cleaning. The Hawks schedule, see, look, okay. Because if you're scrolling right now, this is the Knicks schedule. Ranked number 23. Hawks schedule, where are the Hawks ranked? Looking. Because I know the Hawks had an easy game today, so it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Now I know we have the Hawks number, and the Hawks played Grizzlies. Tough games against the Hawks. Have 14 games left as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games are against quote unquote tough teams. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I'm miscounting something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't seem right. Oh, because maybe the Pistons played the game today. And right now, we're trailing the Hawks. So it seems like slim pickings. Now, if we beat the Hawks, that's one game. That's a one-game jump. So that'll help tremendously if we beat the Hawks. But we'll see. But I want to talk about something else right now. Now that we're talking about the youth, I want to talk about somebody else. I want to talk about Nerlens Noel on steroids, all right? And his name is Jericho Sims. People would like to call him the Wall of Jericho, right? Jericho is interesting, right? Jericho only scored 6 points, had 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. But if you're looking at the plus minus, and hold on, let me give y'all guys a look. Highest plus minus on the night at plus 20. Sorry, shout out to Jericho Sims. Highest plus minus on the night at plus 20. And what does Jericho do for you? Jericho Sims is kind of like Nerlens Noel, where Nerlens Noel is able to kind of sprint and recover. Jericho can do the same thing. But the big difference between Jericho Sims and Noel is Jericho Sims can actually catch the ball. All right? Jericho Sims can actually catch the ball. So, and it's funny because I feel like Jericho actually outplayed Mitch a little bit last night, which is why he got most of the minutes. But here's what I'm talking about playing the youth. I feel like the front office at this time kind of forced their hand and forced Tibbs to play Jericho Sims. And it's crazy because of these last 3 games, if you listen to the program, I've been complaining that although he's been playing well in his stints, he's only been getting 5 or 10 minutes in the last few games. Yesterday, the coach once again tried to play Taj against these huge 7-foot centers, which I don't understand. He put in Taj, I think, for like a grand total of 1 minute, I think, before he came to his senses. Because you already know Tibbs be tibbing. Tibbs likes to stick to his Tib formula, where he just likes to lean on the vets. But Taj played 1 minute and 43 seconds, and quickly found out that wasn't the way to go. And Jericho did a good job of executing the rule of verticality, blocking shots, switching on to younger guards, the smaller guards, and doubling Durant in the 4th quarter and going back to his man. Now, granted, when it got to the end of the game, Durant adjusted, and at that time, Durant adjusted, and after he got the double, he was passing the ball back and relocating until the double went away. And at that point, that's when Jericho has to kind of give multiple efforts and double again. But that's something that experience will teach you. That's something that giving minutes will teach you. You know what I mean? And that's why we need to play the youth. At this point, I just don't feel like playing for the play-in is even worth it to me. Honestly, I'm kind of starting to get off that train. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie says the Hornets schedule is about to get brutal. It's a whole lot of potential to catch them guys. Shout out to the chat and JL. Target that button, please. Salute. Capital S. Shout out to my guy Jay Boogie. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like arguments about Sims versus Mitch too, which is interesting. I don't think it has to be a Sims versus Mitch thing. I don't think it could be like a Sims and Mitch thing. But here's the thing. I'm not stupid either. I do feel like the Knicks drafted Sims as a Mitch safety net, just in case he's going to leave. And Sims does a lot of good things, but Mitch does something. Both Sims and Mitch kind of give you 2 sides of the same coin, where they're both really good defensively. But Sims is a little bit more mobile. Like you saw in that 4th quarter when sometimes Mitch struggles to. Mitch is used to playing drop coverage on pick and roll. And when you playing pick and roll with Durant, you kind of have to run all the way up to the 3-point line and stop Durant from getting a driver lane to the hole and causing havoc. And I think that's a lot of reason why Mitchell Robinson sat yesterday in place of Sims, because he wasn't really doing that consistently. On top of that, I do feel like Andre Drummond was giving him a little bit of problems, although Mitch did have some good moments. But if you want to contain KD, which is honestly we didn't really do, he scored 53 points. You need a big who's versatile enough to move at that high speed and go onto that pick and recover back to his man, and that's something that Sims does. But what Mitch does is he blocks shots and he offensive rebounds. To me, Jericho is probably better at the defensive rebounding, even though he does give you some offensive rebounding prowess. Jericho Sims does a great job, more of a better job defensive rebounding. So I think there's a world where both of these guys can exist at the same time. So I don't really get the Jericho Sims versus Mitchell Robinson thing, to be honest with you. Like, the only way I'll get rid of Mitch is if we have to get rid of Mitch because he says he wants to leave and he wants to go somewhere for another bag. Then you know what my deal is. We get him from Obama or something like that. A stretch 5 who can help our team moving forward, especially guys like RJ Barrett, because I feel like RJ Barrett right now is kind of struggling. Even though RJ Barrett, he's scoring 24 points a game in March, and it had a really good, very, very good February. I feel like R.J. Barrett is I'm sorry. I feel like R.J. Barrett is struggling. In February, R.J. Barrett was averaging 28 points a game in February. March, his averages dropped to 24 points a game. Although his free throws rose to about 30 to 80%, his field goals right now in March is at 39%, which is atrocious for R.J. Barrett. And here's the thing. His usage rate, R.J. Barrett's usage rate has gone up a lot. And here's the thing. Like, the reason why we lost this game yesterday was because it's a talent gap, right? It's basically a talent gap. You got to give these Knicks credit. They fought with Phoenix. They fought with the Grizzlies. Everybody said they were out. We wanted to tank for the longest time. This team has been in it mentally. After the All-Star break, despite what this fan base thinks, the fight with anybody thinks, they've been actually competing. And they were actually in this game. But everything came down to talent. And here's the thing. We already know R.J. Barrett's bread and butter is getting to that left hand and finishing at the basket with regularity. Now, we already know yesterday, I do feel like he got the wrong end of some bad non-foul calls. But also, that consistency that he was starting to show when he was finishing at the rim last month, he wasn't really doing that yesterday. He hasn't been doing that in the month of March, shooting 39% from the field. And if we want to start to beat these teams, as much as RJ has gotten better, he's averaging 24 points a game in March, which is great. With his usage rate being as high as it is for us to have even a chance, his field goal percentage has to go up. Like, it's not even a thing. It has to go up. And so I love it, and this is all in love. I'm not saying trade RJ. I'm not saying any of that. But we have like 14 more games for him to get to like really try to turn that thing around. I know RJ is harder on himself than anybody else, so I already know he sees the numbers and wants to do it to him too. But at some point, we have to get both of these things working together. At one point, the free throw percentage is down and the field goal percentage is up. Next month, the field goal percentage is up and the free throw percentage is down. We need to get both of these things up at the same time. And then you'll really start to see RJ Barrett really take a scoring leap. All right? No. So let's go and shout out to the chat real quick. And let's go to the phone calls real quick. I know the first call up we got is tell him. Let us know what you want to talk about, sir. Testing.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Jay Ellis? Hey, how you doing tonight? KOT show. What's going on, everybody? Yo, first things first, Jay Ellis.
Yeah.
Yo, technical difficulties. They lost the 3-1 lead, boy. They tried to take you out. You feel me?
They did.
They tried to take you out, but you beat them. Way to fight back. Way to stay resilient and give us the stream that we wanted, baby. The stream that we needed after the Brooklyn L. So boom. Obviously, Kevin Durant was a monster and he killed us. And it sucks because, he don't got no Kyrie or no Simmons. And,
yeah.
If he did in the future, it'd probably be, a hard beatdown from Brooklyn.
That's right.
But at least, we not folding. I like that we competing. You
Yeah.
feel me? When you look at the same night, the LA Lakers, they out here getting packed out crazy, 46-22 by the end of the first quarter. And they got LeBron. So we out here competing. And as a fan, as a prideful fan, I'm happy that we competing.
Right.
Now, as far as you said, one thing you said, Jay Ellis, you was like, you don't really want to go for the play-in. I feel you on that, but here's the thing. What you want is the same thing I want. We want to play in with the baby, you feel me?
Yeah.
The way that we going for the play-in is the Dibs way, you feel me?
Yeah.
And we don't like that. We don't like his way where Burks is getting 30-plus minutes, you feel me?
Yeah.
Randall's getting to run point forward at certain points where it may lead to turnovers and, just bad chemistry on offense. It's certain stuff that we not liking right now as far as like playing competitive. We just want to see the Deuce get loose, man.
Yeah.
We want to see our babies get healthy, and we want to see more Sims.
Definitely
a lot
see
more
Sims. Facts.
Look at how crazy the little 1 minute and change Gibson got, and where he got bodied up crazy by Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
Now I will say this though. I don't want to give Coach Tibbs too much love because I don't rock with him, but him making that adjustment, peeping that Gibson's getting bodied, and then not playing him no more for the rest of the game, that was good.
That was good.
Because I feel like Coach Tibbs hasn't done enough of that throughout the season.
You're right.
But also, Jay Ellis, it could be because he feel like he coaching for his job. Now he's willing to make those adjustments that he wasn't willing to make for almost 2 seasons now. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree.
I think he really got spooked when they called him into the office during the All-Star break. And like the first 3 games, the 2 Sixers games and the Suns game, he still was coaching the game. He still was distributing minutes how he wanted to. But then he started easing up after the Cam Johnson game winner. You feel me? He started easing up.
Yep.
And the kids got a little bit of burn, but still, I'm like you. I ain't gonna lie. I want them to get heavy burn.
Yeah.
I'm fully committed to letting them play. And if they get us in the play-in, that'd be amazing. But if not, so be it. At least we got to see what they got. And then we know who we can move this offseason. Like, boom, we played this guy. All right, we trying to get a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade or a Donovan Mitchell trade. Put him in the trade. I'm just giving you an example. You feel me?
You're right.
But it's going to be mad important to see them play. I hope that they stay competitive. If we lose by 3. You feel me? Don't get smacked.
Yeah, don't get smacked.
Like the Lakers. I'm not with that. And I like both Mitch and Sims.
Me too.
I don't know if Sims has an injury problem. I feel like Mitch does get hurt.
Yeah.
So if Mitch is expensive, JLS, I'm not with it. Because, he gets injured sometimes.
Right.
Other than that, you saw the sexy block on the KD jump shot.
That was, man.
Yeah, that was crazy, right? We've seen a lot of good stuff from Mitch, and, ultimately we want to keep him. We want to re-sign him. But the price got to be right. And if it ain't right, we got the wall of Jericho ready,
Yeah, we got
boy.
the wall of Jericho.
The wall of Jericho
man.
ready.
We got him.
Feel me? So, what you think, JLS? What you think the rest of the season is going to look like? Is Coach Tibbs going to lighten up? Is he going to lighten up, or is he fiending for D Rose to get back so he could give him the whole game of minutes?
Yo, man, I feel like D Rose is chomping at the bits, and Tibbs is gonna put him in the same. Like we're too close. We're not statistically out of it. It, and I feel like once D Rose gets back, it's gonna be a wrap. Once Grimes and D Rose is back, it's a wrap for Deuce. That's the way I see it right now. That's really the way I see it right now. Because even now, I'm looking at I looked at the game yesterday, right? I'm not even gonna lie, guys. Like Deuce has been tearing up the D League. The G League, I mean. And he really hasn't had enough touches to really make like a judgment call on what he can be.
On offense?
On offense, right? Because he's been mainly...
You're talking about the Deuce.
I'm talking about the Deuce, because on offense. But as when I've seen so far from Deuce, when he's been up with the Knicks squad, is he has problems like creating separation on the offensive end. You know what I mean? Like when it comes time to like break down a defense, when it comes time to look for his own shot, I feel like he's having problems kind of creating separation to go to his jumper or going by people to set up other people on himself. So I'm like so because he hasn't shown that in his stint so far, I feel like when Grimes comes back or Derrick Rose comes back, like we're not gonna really see him.
Yeah, I feel you. There was some times during the game where if it wasn't this Brooklyn game, it was the game previous where McBride got a switch of a big man and he couldn't break him down like smaller guards take advantage of. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Obi came back. I was happy about that, and there was a play where the Deuce drove. I think Obi was in the corner, and Obi sprayed his second three, and then the coach fiended out and subbed McBride for Burks. I was so upset.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like he's a really right now from what I'm seeing from McBride, he's like a really good like he's showing like a good team guy. Like I'm gonna set the pick. I'm gonna give you the pass, the open pass.
Yeah.
He can throw a nice little alley on the fly. We saw he threw the alley oop to RJ Barrett in the other game. The 3-point, I feel like the 3-point shot will fall. I don't know. He just needs to get the reps.
Yeah.
He's showing that, but like for him to stick on his team, he's gonna have to hit more shots, and he has to like figure out a way to get more involved in the offense with the ball in his hand and create. Like that's the only way I see him like actually getting minutes. But from what I've seen, he's been a plus. He's been a plus on a defensive end, and when him and IQ together have been great. But it's gonna be sticky for him, man. It's gonna be sticky for him.
Yo, imagine a lineup with IQ, McBride, Reddish, Grimes, RJ, either Mitch or Sims.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I forgot. I left out Obi.
Yeah.
Obi, look at that. See how deep we are with babies?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I'm staying optimistic. I'm fine losing close games because it helps with ping pong balls, but I'm also fine, winning some games with the babies because I ain't no folder. I ain't quitting. We got 2 games against Charlotte, 2 Porzingis games, and a Hawks game in the Garden. So I'm still looking for smoke. All right? I'm just letting that be known.
I'm looking for smoke too. I feel you. Like I'm not a guy who can root for losing. That's not in my DNA to be like, oh, I hope the team loses today. Like you see, like I'm mad depressed. I be mad depressed when I just happen to do a show, so I put on a happy face. But I be mad depressed when we lose, and I just like.
Word, I feel you. No, I feel you. Messes up my mood too. I don't like the
I like
sad
it,
stuff.
but I like what you said though. Like if we are playing the kids and making the play-in, then I'm fine with that.
That's the wave.
I'm fine with that. Will that happen all the way? I'm happy that Deuce is even getting 20 minutes right now. Even he got 11 minutes yesterday.
Word.
But
It's looking like Deuce is getting more minutes than Obi. Obi's in the doghouse.
Well, Obi's behind Randle, so you already know how that is, man. Obi's behind Randle. And shout out to Obi, because there was a lineup yesterday, and you know what? The Nets beat us because they have Kevin Durant. Like that's pretty much what it is. Because you saw what happened when Kevin Durant sat down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we started chipping away.
Yeah, Kevin Durant sat down. We had our youngsters in there. We had McBride in there. We had IQ in there. We had Obi. Shout out to Obi's back. We had Sims in there. We had the youth them in there, and ran the table. And then KD was like, "Oh nah, get me back in the game." Like,
mm-hmm.
And that spelled the end of Obi because normally I would like to run Obi, but Obi's first game back playing against KD is like like that's baptism.
Word. Ease him in. He ain't ready for this matchup yet.
That's baptism by fire. That's baptism by fire if I ever heard something. So I kind of get it, but it's funny because we kind of lost the game really in that fourth quarter. Not lost it, but it contributed to it when we went back to that bench. And Randle couldn't play. I think Randle might have been in foul trouble. I'm not sure. And we went back to the kids, and then they ran the table on us on that third and fourth quarter. But It is what it is, man. KD is KD. Like I can't even. I'm not even mad at this game, to be honest with you.
He's nasty, bro. He's reminding us why we wanted him. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And for anybody who's saying they ain't want him, you're lying. I wanted him.
Yeah, I wanted him too, man. I didn't want Kyrie. Cause
exactly.
I didn't want Kyrie.
Me neither.
I didn't want Kyrie. And shout out to Kathy. Kathy was like, if she was like, if Kyrie's part of the package, I don't want any of them. That's what she was on last. Because Kyrie is a headache. She was on that type of time.
She's smart.
Yeah. I was almost willing to make the sacrifice. To be honest with you, I was like, I don't know. I
was willing too because I was desperate, but I would have tried to finesse it, Jay Ellis, and get Kemba. That was before
Me too.
The bad knee with Boston.
Same thing. I was on Kemba KD, but it is what it is. They got him right now, and it's time for us to kind of move on and build what we got. Hopefully, we got Cam, we got OB, we got Deuce, we got IQ.
We got Star J.
Yeah, we got Star J in the building.
We'll start next year.
Exactly. We got those guys coming.
Jay Ellis.
What's up?
Thanks for speaking, man. Thanks for streaming. Keep cooking, boy. I'm going to listen to what you got to say.
All right.
Holla back.
All right. Salute to you, yo. Your boy sick today, too. Yo, chat, let me know, man. Listen, KLC fam, this is what I'm thinking. end of the year, I want to have like a fan. I want to have a fan kind of round table thing at the end of the year. At the end of the season, mind you. Where at the end of the season, there's going to be no phone calls that day, right? But what I want is I'm gonna send a little Zoom link, and if you want to come in and you want to talk, come in and you talk, and we'll have like 3 or 4 people who are watching come in and join the KOT show and talk with us, and do like an end of the season type of talk with you guys. I'm thinking I want to switch it up and do something different and try that out for you guys. I know that we have the fan favorite All Stars. I know Tell 'em is a fan favorite. We have Reaper over here who talks a lot. RJ, this guy RJ, shout out to RJ. He's been talking recently. Jason, Lower East Side Jason, the people who call in on a regular. I'm pretty sure y'all might be interested in that. But I want to do that. Switch it up and have like a KOT fan round table for you guys. Yeah, let me know if you're interested. Put a 5 in the chat if you're interested in that. Put a 5 in the chat if you're interested in that. All right. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to Tell Alejandro. Shout out to I'm Forever Fat Cash. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Shout out to Fritz. Shout out to Yik Yak. Rich Jim. Mullins Break says 5. Fritz is 5. Zentrix is 5. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna try to set it up where we can have 6 people on at once. I'm gonna try to set up where we can have 6 people on at once. And whoever wants to join. All right. All right, let's go. Also in Knicks news, or Julius Randle has been Julius Randle is a conundrum. Julius Randle is a conundrum, man. Like, all of a sudden, this kid is balling out, and he seems to have like reinvented himself in a month. And it's funny because I'm watching the game yesterday, and Doris Burke said something that like all of us have been thinking for one point or another. Because in the third quarter, right, these Nets make a push. The Nets make a push in the third quarter. And Julius Randle does what Julius Randle does, right? KD starts to drive to the hole. He's in help position, and instead of actually helping, he screams at another teammate because he wasn't the one to help him. And I'm just like, yo, Randle, like, you got to stop doing this. Like, you got to stop barking on teammates when it's your fault. It makes you look bad. Like, and it's annoying because he has so much talent. But I feel like we're like this weird crossroad where he's good enough to recognize that he's good enough. But also, it's like, do you keep him or do you move him? And I feel like a lot of the fans at this point don't trust him because of what happened in the first part of the season. And they want to move on from him. And at this point, I've been on the fence about it for a long time. I'm not even going to lie. But at this point, I might be with it, man. His mental state kind of scares me, man. I might be trying to sell high on him on summer, man. I'm not even going to lie, man. Especially if it means getting like a bigger star here. Or not even a bigger star, but like a more stable, a more emotionally stable star who, when the fourth quarter comes, can actually do something. That would be ideal. I know that might not be, it could be a pipe dream. I've already seen a Donovan Mitchell rumors happening. That's what we're all hoping for, but you just never know, right? I'm not banking on that, but you just don't know. But that's what I'm hoping for. All right. I see NHS says Mitch turned down extension right after the trade deadline. Mitch, if he's smart, won't sign for 4 years. 2 years boosts his stock. Get with a team that lets him freestyle a little bit, and they get paid big in 2 years. Fritz, I agree with you. If I'm Mitch, I'm doing a 2-year deal. The only reason I wouldn't do a 2-year deal if I'm Mitch is injury. Because his injury history, like, he also has to bank on himself not getting injured because he's kind of nicked up every year. You know what I'm saying? Nick says Mitch turned down an extension right after the trade deadline. Ian Begley reported that the Knicks Ian Begley reported that the number that they were kind of looking for was 4 years, $48 million, and the Knicks didn't even come close to that number. So to me, that says the Knicks seem like they're trying to lowball him. Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe they're just trying to see what he gets out there in the free market. But right now he's playing his best basketball in the contract year. So the market can be very favorable for him. So we got to see. Mullins breaks in Chire says to move Noel's contract, do we have to include a pick? Quite possibly, man. Like, what's looking at? Although, wait, his contract actually might be expiring. If we take a look. I'm pulling it up right now. So as of right now, Nerlens Noel makes $9 million. And I'm going to share the screen real quick with you guys. Nerlens Noel, base salary $9 million for 2023, and $9 million. This is a team option for 2023-2024. So, depending on when we move him, I feel like if we wait until the trade deadline next season, we won't have to really give up anything because he's an expiring deal. You know what I mean? So there's a possibility we might be able to finagle that. There's a possibility we might be able to finagle that. I definitely don't want to lose a pick, for sure. All right, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to Trevor McKenzie and everybody else who's rocking with the KOT show. Was there anything else I wanted to touch on? The last second shot. I saw some talk about RJ Barrett, and they didn't know. They know we needed a 3, and they were kind of confused on why he didn't take the 3 at the last second. And I kind of understand it. Because if you're watching RJ Barrett, and if you're watching that play, RJ Barrett has a step back. And he felt like they were playing him for that 3. So I think what he was trying to do was trying to drive inside the 3-point line and then get to that step back and tie the game up that way. Before he could get to the step back, they fouled him. I think that's what he was trying to do. Now it didn't work. But, you know, that's what he was really trying to do. And at the end of the day, like we said, this game has to do with just needing a point guard or needing a guy who can finish. And the closest thing we have to that is RJ Barrett. I wish we kind of went to him a little bit more at the end, to be honest with you. Even when he's missing, I feel like him going to the hole kind of creates offensive rebounding opportunities. So I feel like that's pretty much our best. That's our best get. Like, even with Randle cooking and him shooting 52% from the field, Randle goes left primarily for the most part. Gordon Dragic was forcing him left, and for some reason, this is the one time that Randle chooses to go right and commits an offensive foul, and commits a turnover, which is interesting to me. So we really need a closer. We got another caller up though. What's going? Shout out to Big Reaper. Big Reaper, let us know what do you want to talk about, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for taking my call. I'm glad you guys were on tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, it was yesterday overall. I'm glad they kind of fought, but mostly I felt like on the offensive end, Fournier, he kind of had one of those games where he just kind of kept us in it.
Yeah.
Until Julius picked it up a little bit. And, I'm kind of glad they made it interesting, I wish, I wish the young guys would have played a little more. It's so funny, though, that I think I don't know if it was second or third quarter when he had Taj Gibson in there.
Yeah.
Like one of those oversized matchups. And it was like, why is he in there? But anyway, he did correct it, which I was happy about.
Me too.
I was actually surprised that he actually ended up correcting it. A lot of times, if it was earlier this season, he wouldn't have done that. So we are seeing some minor changes here and there. But I'm afraid overall he's still the same guy, the same coach sort of, and, he's going to have the same tendencies. So with the R.J. Barrett, I wanted to say something about R.J. Barrett and also Julius Randle. R.J. Barrett, he's been actually, if you look, he's actually been in a little bit of a shooting funk again.
Yep.
For the season, R.J. is shooting barely 42%. I mean, obviously that's a problem. It's something he really needs to keep working on and try to improve his efficiency. He might be at 43 now, but he's still not shooting very well for the year. And he's kind of like taking a step back in terms of efficiency.
Yep.
But he has improved. I'm not going to say he's not improving. However, Julius Randle is not the person for him to be looking up to if he's thinking about because for the team to be good, he needs to be an efficient player. He has to do basically what the season Julius Randle had last year. He wasn't extremely efficient, but Julius Randle was kind of made the hurdle. Like he shot almost 46% last year. He was like 45.5%.
Right.
So he kind of got over that, That's where you kind of have to be. And then, the team has to have like a pretty solid defense, try to hold teams under like 44% shooting overall. And so Julius did that last year, but he wasn't. But I think last year was probably Julius' it definitely was his best year. Efficiency-wise, I'm not sure, but it was definitely his best year. But R.J. Barrett does not want to look to Julius Randle as an example in terms of like for you to survive in this league, for your team to be good, you have to be very efficient, and he needs to work on being an efficient basketball player and efficient scorer.
Yeah, I mean,
and
for this month, March, Julius Randle's averaging like 45% in March from the field, 43% from three. So in March so far, so March has been his month. March has definitely been his month. This is like last year's Julius Randle in March.
But how many games is that in March actually?
How many games is that in March?
In March, yeah.
I'm not sure off the bat. I feel like it's been like 6 games or so. I can look that up real quick right now.
Actually, you know what? It's crazy. Actually, I have it up. So March 2nd to today. You're right. Well, he's shooting 44 point. Well, there might be a rounding error. So it says what I have 44.5, but it's probably a rounding error. So you're probably right. It's probably around 45%.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting for the year. I mean, for March.
For March, yeah.
But what's crazy? So I did but if you look at the 10 games, and the 10 games, the last 10 games kind of goes into February. He's shooting about 41%.
Mm.
So it was like the few games before that, he was like shooting 13%, 40,
right,
like 30%.
The 46% game, the 46-point game helped tremendously. He started off with a 46-point game in March, so that helped a lot, for sure.
Yeah. And so I guess that's kind of one of the other thing I wanted to get to about Julius. Well, actually, I wanted to say, RJ, since he's trying to be the man, I have noticed his defense has dropped off. Since he's sort of like trying to take the role as the man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing. I feel like, it's two things. I think obviously the coach is playing them way too many minutes, number one.
Yeah.
They need to cut their minutes. It needs to be down to like 32, 33 if you want these guys to be two-way players, right?
Yeah.
But the second thing, too, is like, I don't know, man. I just feel like, he shouldn't be – like the game yesterday, I mean, there was one play that kind of jumps into my head yesterday when Julius was so bad on KD. He showed no heart at all against KD to start the game. I mean, like, it was crazy. KD took his heart. Normally Julius is pounding his chest, chirpy, but yesterday he had no words. And it was like he wasn't even trying to make KD feel like he was there.
I'm not even. You know what? I'll give Julius some bail for the third. I say that for the third quarter. Yes, I feel like the third quarter. I feel like Randle gave up in the third quarter. The first quarter, I feel like KD, they just ran some screens and he just kind of got mollywopped because KD is KD. Like third quarter though, I feel like he kind of just looked at him run amok and didn't really show any resistance.
It wasn't even that bad. So basically, after it was so bad, they switched RJ onto KD, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then Julius wasn't even stopping anyone else. Like he had people, he would be in the lane, hands up. I mean, like people were just scoring on Julius right and left. So even as far as being able to challenge shots, being a challenge opponent shooting, he's even like he was terrible at that yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like extremely surprising. He had like on the defensive end, he showed no heart yesterday. To me, look, I'm not trying to, just beat up on Julius, but I think the last few games he's had, people are kind of getting it twisted because like you can cherry pick some numbers and make it seem like, I'm not saying you're purposely cherry picking, but like, yeah, March, okay, he shot 45%. The last 10 games, he's shooting 41%. Last 20, he's shooting 42%. The last 30 games, he's shooting 41%. The whole season, he's shooting 42%.
Well,
so
I'm just looking at trends. I'm just looking at trends, to be honest. Like it's like I do that with RJ too. Like RJ last month, it's like RJ's the man. This month, RJ, he's been he's averaging 24 a game, but I feel like the numbers are dipping a little bit. So I look at latest trends pretty much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
It's definitely good to do that. I definitely agree with you on that. It's just I just feel like a lot of people are thinking like he's playing. Look, I mean, it's good to look at the trends, but I agree with that. It's just also we want to kind of keep it in perspective and look at just kind of take a step back and look at how it's looking like, let's say, over the course of the season, or even the last 10, 20, 30 games to see what's really happening. And it's just like, I'm just a little concerned about it. I just hope he doesn't, because let's say he tries to close strong and then they change their mind. I mean, like he's already showed his hand who he is.
Right.
I just think, they shouldn't, he did close a little stronger. And I just feel like, I think some guys inadvertently maybe, kind of taking cues from him, I'm not saying they're purposely trying to be like, Julius, but I mean, he's the vet on the team and he's the best player, the most talented on the team, the most productive on the team. They're naturally going to be taking cues on certain things from him. And I just think he's, it's just really, really bad for the team.
Well, yes, I mean, yeah, I guess. But I kind of feel like RJ's doing the opposite, to be honest. I feel like he's trying to anyway. I'm not sure if he's always successful at it. Because, like, even though, like, the game before, RJ was calling people out for not passing the ball versus the Grizzlies, I felt like he was anyway. Like, he didn't call people out particularly, but he made a comment that said they share the ball and they find joy in other people's success. And it felt weird to me that he said that.
For the second team. He was saying that about the second team. Yeah, I remember that.
Right. And then, but if you look at that game, RJ wasn't passing the ball that game. He was playing a little bit selfish. And not to say he's the only one. And in general, RJ's assist percentage has gone up. So I'm not saying in general he is, but that game in particular, I feel like he was playing a little bit selfish.
I feel like on the defensive end, I feel like he might be taking cue inadvertent from Randle. He sees like, oh, you know what? Randle takes plays off. Maybe this is how I have to do it to be a little more efficient on the offensive end. Look, I don't know. I don't know if it really works. Maybe it does, but it's not really working for RJ because his efficiency has kind of gone down a little bit, and he's been taking plays off on the defensive end. There was one play they showed a couple of times. It was towards the end of the game. I think he was playing pretty decent on Durant or something. I can't remember what happened, and then kind of late in the shot clock or something, Durant kind of popped out to the three-point line. And RJ kind of took his eyes off of KD, and it was like, why? What are you looking at? KD's got 50 points or whatever it is, and you decide to take your eyes off. So
I'm not gonna blame RJ for that, man. Like that's one of those things where KD relocates. Like KD relocates. People are scrambling. I'm not gonna blame RJ for that, man.
Look, I'm not trying to say, he would stop KD from scoring at that point, but it's just kind of like, it's just an example of what's been happening with RJ the last, I want to say 10 games or more. I mean, maybe people may not want to really, I don't know, but he's been taking plays off on the defensive end. He hasn't been playing the same. His defensive stats has actually gotten worse the last 10 games.
Because if I remember correctly, I feel like Burks was recovering to him, and then he kind of switched off, and that's why RJ switched. I think that's the play you're talking about, but I have to replay the whole game. But I feel like there was a rotation issue, because they were doubling. So when you're doubling, they were doubling to get the ball out of his hands. So when you're doubling to get the ball out of their hands, then there's one player open, so you gotta recover back to the player. So and then it kind of leads when you start to rotate. There's usually one person open for a second, or when you're getting your defense back together or whatever. I kind of feel like that's what happened. That's why I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm not gonna really blame him for that. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I didn't look at it close enough. But the last thing I wanted to say too is just look. I mean, you look at this team. There's just no one who gets a lot of minutes. There's no one on this team that gets 18 to 20 minutes that's shooting even over 42%. It's everyone on this team that gets a lot of minutes is shooting under 42 except for Mitch.
That's talent, man. I mean, that's talent, man.
And so it's just the thing is, I don't know, coach doesn't really see it and doesn't want to see it. But and I was kind of tough on Obi last year. Not really tough, but he was a rookie or whatever. But dude, you look at this guy's efficiency. You need players on the court who's shooting over 50%. If you don't have efficient players on the court and you got Obi and you're playing him only 8 minutes a game, I think he doesn't want to do it because we don't have a point guard and he's afraid and that it may not work. But Obi makes good decisions. He doesn't play outside himself a lot of times. And so the coach needs to make that decision and play Obi. He's the only other person who's shooting. I'm not saying play Obi 30 minutes a game, but you got to give him at least 20 minutes a game. You need players that are efficient.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone is 42% and lower.
Yeah,
I mean that stuff helps.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you know what? Thanks for calling. I know I got Jay Boogie waiting, so I want to get him in. But thanks, thanks for calling in.
Good night.
All right, but I kind of agree with you there. But I understand. I'm for Team Obi. I want Obi to get time. I've always wanted him to get 10, 15, get 15, 20 minutes a game. I kind of understand his limitations though. Sometimes when he plays a lot more minutes and they start to play him for the shot and they pack the paint. So I do understand that, and that's sometimes why they take him out. But I don't care. I want him to play, but I also want them to use him correctly too. I don't want them to just kind of have him being limited to a spot up 3-point shooter. He's a guy who can catch lobs and dunk the ball. He should be involved more in pick and rolls or something. I still, in the beginning of the season, he was actually involved in pick and roll within the first month or two. He was getting the ball in the spots where he can do something with the ball. And then as the season went by and it got to February and March, they put him in the corner again like they did last year. And I thought we turned the corner in the way we was using Obi, but I feel like we regressed. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Next call up, we got my guy Jay Boogie.
Salute. 3 capital S's.
Yeah,
JL,
man.
how you doing, my brother?
Yeah, man. It's been a minute, J Boogie. What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, I'm always in your chat, though, man. Keep doing your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? You're still doing your thing. That's what's more important than anything, man. Y'all hit them like buttons, man. If the like buttons is down, man, show the man some support, some love, man. You know what I'm saying? You're typing, your friendship typing and everything. You're texting. Hit that like button. It's right there in the same area. Hit that for the man. You know what I'm saying? Show the brother some love. He ain't asking for so much.
Salute.
This is my biggest issue, and this is my biggest thing, and this is what I be speaking upon.
Okay.
I can't wait for the season to be over with. Done with it. Let it be gone.
Yeah.
Let it go to history. Put it in the past. My biggest thing right now, I'm on Leon Rose. I'm on him real heavy. Leon Rose, all this is on you. This is up to you. You must nail this draft pick. You must go get us a point guard. You must add that to the equator. You came to this organization with a clean slate. We can say what we want about Mills and all that, but when he left here, the slate was clean. Yeah. You had cap space, you had draft picks, you had everything laid out for you. And you came here and totally crashed. You missed out on so much. You missed out drafting that boy Payne in Memphis. You even missed out drafting that boy Bones because you wondered he kind of remind y'all quickly and what way, where, how. How does him and Quickly even compare? It is no comparison. You don't have no point guard on this team. All you didn't draft RJ. You didn't sign Julius. You did none of that right there. You don't blew the trades. You know what I'm saying? All you did was went for a hometown story and brought us a guy over here that everybody knew to get rid of him because his knees was bad. And then you gave Evan Fournier, a bench player, a whole bunch of money when you could have held on to that money like you did last year. See, last year, at the end of the season, we was all, okay, he got some extra money, so he going to spread it out amongst the team. So you knew what you was doing with that money. But then the next year came and that pressure came up on you. You flunked the test, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now, Leon, you need to get this situated and get this right. And everybody keep talking about Tom going somewhere. Understand, Tom got a 5-year deal with a 3-year guarantee. He's guaranteed for 3 years. So all that keep talking about Tom get up out of here. Unless Tom say he want up out of here on his 3rd year, Tom is not going nowhere. But Leon, you need to get this situation thing here right, man. Get us a point guard in here, and then we'll feel like you've done something. But you have not done anything besides bring your man World Wide West over here that'll make a World Wide West. But Jay-Z Ben told you that. Get the situation right in New York for us to feel happy and appreciate about a move that you make. Because so far you have done no moves at all. And one move you should have failed. You failed. You should have been gave Knicks that money a year ago. You should have gave it to him. You'd have had him for cheap. But now his stock don't went up because other people want him on his team, and he's supposed to hold out and see how much money he can get. And if y'all want me, you need to match the contract. But you're not going to do that because when it comes to getting a player and keeping a player, we know Leon don't want to keep the player. The same draft pick that you kept and hold while we don't have Lonzo Ball. You know what I'm saying? We ain't forgot about that neither. You know what I'm saying? You held on to some picks and didn't want to trade an extra pick to get us a point guard. And we're supposed to be the mecca of basketball, but we don't have a point guard. But we grew up with the sick handles in the park. That's why they call us the mecca. So what are you going to do? Now, Mitch, you're going to let him walk out the door? Then you see him play that high screen and roll, and KD didn't go by him, and he blocked the shot like my man said earlier in the chat when he was talking, you know what I'm saying? You did not see that? The potential the man got? I tell you what you do. It's 3 C's that's past us. That, you know, we didn't play good all along this year, but it's 3 C's that's past us. And I'm going to tell you, it's Chicago, Cleveland, and Charlotte. All 3 of them passed us. I tell you what, Detroit Pistons is on deck. And right now, the Wizards are still in front of us. Mess around and let Mitch go to somebody like Detroit and let them walk up out our gym because you want to, you know what I'm saying, just keep playing games up in our office. Let them go up out of here and see where we be. We have no rim protector. Stop trying to say Sims and that man is a comparison. It's not a comparison. Sims don't even know how to play basketball yet. He's just an athlete, but he's on his way. He's up and coming. But while we got this man right here holding down the center, holding down the middle the best way he can, man, you need to go ahead and give that man a couple of dollars, you know what I'm saying, and show him some appreciation. Because don't forget, he broke up in the first game he seen up against Capella. You seen how big he was.
Yeah.
He don't stop to shut down Pella every time we don't play them this year. And we see him one more time. That's why we was missing. That's why a lot of people last year were saying if Mitch would have been here last year in the playoff, it would have been a different story. Yep. Now Mitch is here, and he's showing you that I'm right here ready to go. You know, you need to go ahead and pay that man. It's not that man's fault. You don't have no big man on the bench working that can work out with the big guys down low, give him fundamentals, give him footwork, give him jump shots, give him jump hooks and all that. We don't have nobody to up his game, but he's ready to go. Let him walk out the gym to go to somebody like Detroit when they got Cade and them young boys ready to go, and see how far we go back, man. God bless you all. You all stay healthy and safe, man. I love y'all in the chat. Y'all the most loyalest people. Y'all ain't fans. Y'all the loyal people, you know what I'm saying? We still represent this orange and blue to the fullest, no matter what. We die hard with them, and we live good with them. When the team is playing bad, we here. When the team playing good, we here. That's your loyalty that y'all people have inside this chat. God bless you. Stay healthy and safe. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's.
Jay Boogie the Preacher. You already know what he does, man. You already know, man. Yeesh. Phone lines are on fire right now. We gotta let that cool off a little bit, because Jay Boogie just came over here and torched the place and set the whole place on fire. Man. I don't even know where to start with that, because he hit a whole bunch of important topics, man. He hit everywhere. He hits you with the point guard. He hits you with the center. He hits you with Sims, Mitchell Robinson. He hits you with Leon Rose. Hits you with a bunch of everything, man. All and spit nothing but facts. Nothing but facts. Leon Rose is on the clock, man. He's right. Leon Rose is on the clock. Last season was the honeymoon season. Nobody expected us to be there. No one thought we was gonna make the 4th seed. We made the 4th seed. This season, we failed to kind of build on what the success we had last season. We needed a point guard, and you're absolutely right. We failed to get in the point guard. We didn't draft one. We didn't get Lonzo Ball here because he cost too much money. Instead of putting that money on Lonzo, we ended up putting the money on Fournier. We ended up getting Kemba Walker here. Major L's on both calls. So Leon Rose, he's absolutely right, man. Leon Rose is on the clock, and the time is ticking on nick of time. Like, we need a point guard. We definitely need a point guard. And I'm really interested to see where he goes from now on, because assuming we make the play-in and get swept out the first round, or don't make the play-in at all, what direction are we going to go in next season with the way this season went? Because you have Julius Randle who played like buns for the first few months, and then came on last season, so you can't. Then he comes on the last couple of months, so you feel like you can't trust the guy. You have a bunch of young guys who deserves to play. You have Cam Reddish, who's been injured, but he needs that run where he's showing superstar potential. And you have Alec Burks, you have Derrick Rose, you have Evan Fournier, you have Kemba Walker, you have a bunch of guys who's expiring, who need to kind of sit down and be moved so these young guys can to play. We're in an interesting position right now because we have not really picked a direction. We've been kind of playing the fence, halfway doing the rebuild, halfway playing the kids. It might be time, man. Might be time to pick a direction for real. And just like that, see Jay Boogie spits facts and the lights go out. You see how that goes? Salute to the chat, man. Everybody's rocking with the KOT show. Next game up. The next game, I believe the next game is going to be Wednesday. Which is tomorrow. I'm trying to get the lights right on real quick. So definitely turn in tomorrow. The Knicks are playing. Hold on, let me check the schedule real quick. Hold on, let me check the schedule. Hold on a second. The old school with the lights. Jay Boogie turned the lights off the way he was preaching today, man. Tomorrow we got the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers is a winnable game. Next few games, Trailblazers could be a win. Wizards could be a win. Utah, tricky. Hawks could be a win again. Hornets. In the next 5 games, 3 games are people we're chasing. So we could make some headway between this week and the 23rd. And so tomorrow's an important game. Tomorrow's definitely an important game. We owe Portland one. Cause we blew a Portland game, if I remember correctly. Rich Sims says we need talent. Forget about the play. I believe you, man. Yeah, I want to forget about the play-in, Rich Jim, but I already know they're not going to forget about the play-in. They're going to try to win, which is why I'm looking at the schedule the way I'm looking at it, because I already know what's going to happen. They're going to try to win. But we do need talent. We do need talent, but I also know, too, the lottery odds are set up in such a way where tanking doesn't really guarantee you talent. Portland is Wednesday. Today is Monday. Yo, shout out to Fritz, man. I'm so used to games being every other day that I thought it was Tuesday in my mind. So, all right, no post game tomorrow on Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll be back to talk about the Knicks Portland. If you like the show, please hit the like button, subscribe button. Today was a little bit unconventional. It was the day after the game, so I felt like the way we kind of even crafted the show was a little bit different than usual. But shout out to everybody who called in, and we will be back Wednesday, all right? So that is our show. It should be me and Ryan G Wednesday Raw. Shout out to Raw. Raw's daughter's birthday was Sunday, so shout out to Raw. And Raw's not available on Wednesday, so it'll be me and Ryan. It should be me and Ryan on Wednesday talking Knicks basketball on Portland, all right? So that is our show. You already know what to do. Follow us on all social media. That is the Knick of Time Show on Twitter. The Knick of Time Show on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook as well at the Knick of Time Show. You can listen to us on all social media. You can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. And you can check our blog at theknickoftimeshow.com and get our merch there as well, like these KOT has. All right. That is our show, man. Thank you guys for supporting us as always. And thanks to you guys for being patient while we had to deal with the technical difficulties. Technology's been kind of kicking our butts this week. So shout out to you guys. And as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here, all right? That's our show. We out of here.